Ethan had never felt nervous like this before. He had traveled across the stars, fought in simulations, and faced dangers that could have ended him a dozen times, but nothing compared to this moment. Today he was going to meet Arya's mother, a being from a world unlike anything he had ever seen. Lumeria, her home planet, was famous for its towering crystal forests, glowing rivers, and skies that shimmered with colors no human eye could describe. And Arya's mother, she was rumored to be unlike anyone on that planet or any other. Ethan's shuttle descended slowly toward the landing platform at the edge of the city. The air shimmered faintly around the engines, and he could see the streets below teeming with beings of all shapes and sizes. Some had translucent skin that revealed glowing veins. Others could change their form slightly, stretching or compressing in ways that were both fascinating and disconcerting. Humans were rare on Lumeria, and Ethan could feel the curious glances of everyone on the platform. His heart pounded in his chest, but he forced himself to remain calm. Arya had warned him before he left. Mom is intense. She can read people, see their intentions, and she does not waste time. If she finds something in you she doesn't like, she won't hesitate. Ethan swallowed hard. He had faced hostile aliens before, but none of them had claimed to see the truth of a person just by looking at them. He had trained for years in diplomacy, survival, and combat. But this was different. The shuttle doors opened with a smooth hiss and Ethan stepped out, his boots touching the glowing landing pad. The light underfoot shifted with his weight, and he marveled at the technology. His eyes scanned the city in awe. Towers of crystal rose into the sky, their surfaces reflecting the bioluminescent glow of the atmosphere. Airships moved silently through the air, and Lumerians of all shapes hurried along the streets. Everything was alive, vibrant, and utterly alien. Ethan followed the directions Arya had given him and arrived at the house. Unlike the city around it, the home was modest in size but elegant in its design. The walls were smooth, almost organic, as if they had grown rather than been built. The door shimmered faintly as he approached. He took a deep breath and lifted his hand to knock. Before he could make contact, the door slid open silently. Standing there was Arya's mother, a tall figure whose presence seemed to command the entire space. Her eyes were sharp, luminous, and intelligent. They seemed to pierce right through him, seeing everything at once. "Finally alone," she said softly. Her voice was calm, yet carried a weight that made Ethan instinctively straighten his posture. And then, without a moment's pause, she closed the door. Ethan froze. His heart raced. The door made no sound, yet it was firmly shut. He could hear faint movement inside the house, subtle shifts in the air like the quiet breathing of something alive. He tried knocking, but the door would not open again. Panic prickled at the edges of his mind. Was this a test, a trap? He didn't know, and yet some part of him understood that fear alone would not help. The door slid open again silently, as if it had never closed. Ethan stepped inside, his senses alert. The interior of the house was unlike anything he had imagined. The walls glowed faintly, pulsing gently, casting soft light across the room. The floor was smooth, almost liquid in its appearance, yet solid beneath his feet. The air smelled faintly of minerals and flowers, a combination that made him feel both calm and alert at the same time. Arya's mother emerged from the shadows, walking toward him with measured steps. She studied him as if reading a book, and Ethan felt exposed. Every secret, every hesitation, every thought he had been trying to hide seemed to be laid bare before her. "You are human," she said, more like a statement than a question. "And yet, you are not like the others." Ethan cleared his throat. I just wanted to meet you," he said carefully. His voice sounded small even to him. He realized quickly that ordinary words might not be enough here. She tilted her head slightly, a faint smile playing on her lips. "Humans are fascinating. Rare, fragile, yet resilient, and you carry something I have not seen in a long time." Ethan blinked, uncertain how to respond. "Something special?" he asked cautiously. Her eyes glimmered. "Yes, something beyond simple survival. A spark." She paused as if considering him further. "But sparks alone are not enough to light a fire. I need to understand you, Ethan. I need to know if you are worthy." Suddenly, the walls around them shifted. Light flickered and swirled, creating images that hovered in the air. Ethan watched, mesmerized, as scenes from Earth appeared. Cities, oceans, forests, deserts. He saw children playing, families laughing, humans fighting wars, humans building machines and tools, humans exploring the stars. Every moment seemed condensed into flashes of light. "You see," Arya's mother said softly, "I have the ability to observe not just actions, but intent. I can see the essence of a being. I can see what drives them, what they fear, what they cherish." Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. He had been trained to remain calm in combat, to focus on logic in crises, but this was different. This was intimate, personal, and invasive in a way he could not resist. She stepped closer, and Ethan noticed how her presence seemed to bend the light around her. "Do you love Arya?" she asked, her voice almost gentle, yet carrying an undeniable weight. Ethan straightened his shoulders. "Yes, I do," he said firmly. "I love her more than anything." A faint smile appeared on her lips. "Good, that is an important quality. But love alone does not protect. Courage, loyalty, and judgment are what matter. Humans are often blind to their own weaknesses." Ethan felt both intimidated and challenged. "Then, I guess I'll have to prove myself," he said. Her eyes sparkled. "Indeed, that is why I have prepared tests." The room around him shifted again, and Ethan realized he was no longer standing in a house. Instead, he was in a vast space that seemed to stretch into infinity, filled with landscapes that changed with every step. Cities rose and fell. Mountains towered, oceans surged, and skies burned with alien suns. It was beautiful and terrifying at once. "You will face simulations," she explained. "Simulations of danger, of fear, of loss. I will observe how you act, how you think, how you feel. Your choices will reveal your nature." Ethan felt a rush of adrenaline. He had faced dangerous simulations before, but nothing like this. The stakes were higher because failure here was not just about survival. It was about being judged by someone who could see the very core of him. The first simulation began. A city appeared before him, collapsing under an unknown threat. Buildings crumbled, fires spread, and alien beings screamed for help. Without thinking, Ethan ran into the chaos, guiding survivors to safety, lifting debris and offering reassurance. Every instinct he had developed on Earth came into play. But here, in this alien world, it felt sharper, more real. Arya's mother watched silently. She made no comments, yet Ethan could feel her presence pressing on him, examining every action, every hesitation. He realized quickly that this was more than a test of courage. It was a test of character. Hours seemed to pass, though he had no way of measuring time. He faced multiple challenges, visions of friends in danger, scenarios that tested his patience and morality, illusions designed to tempt him to abandon his principles. Each time he held firm, speaking promises aloud to protect those in need, refusing to give in to fear or despair. Finally, the simulations ended. Ethan collapsed to his knees, exhausted, sweat and dust covering him, though he could not see where it came from. He looked around and the room returned to the calm, glowing interior of the house. Arya's mother approached him slowly. Her expression was unreadable, but her eyes shone with something that felt like approval. "You have survived the first test," she said softly. "Most humans would have failed. You have shown courage, loyalty, and a spark of something extraordinary." Ethan struggled to rise, his body trembling from exhaustion. I did my best," he said simply. She nodded. "Your best is sufficient. But there are more tests to come. You must understand that being worthy of Arya is not simply about strength or love. It is about understanding, patience, and the willingness to face the unknown without faltering." Ethan took a deep breath, steadying himself. He had survived the first trial, but he knew this was only the beginning. Meeting Arya's mother was not just a formality. It was a crucible, designed to reveal the essence of humanity through one human alone. For the first time, Ethan understood why Arya had warned him. This encounter was more than a meeting. It was a challenge to prove that humanity could rise, not just in strength, but in character, in courage, and in love. As he looked toward the door, he realized that stepping out into the next phase of the test would not be easy. But he also knew he would not turn back, because beyond the trials, beyond the fear, and beyond the alien scrutiny, Arya was waiting, and he would face whatever it took to be worthy of her. And so, with a final deep breath, Ethan prepared himself for what lay ahead, unaware of just how far Arya's mother's tests would push him, or what truths about himself he would discover along the way. Ethan felt the weight of what had already happened pressing on him. He had survived the first test of courage and loyalty, yet he knew that Arya's mother was far from finished. The calm glow of the house seemed almost too peaceful, masking the challenges that were yet to come. He could feel her presence everywhere, not just in the room, but in the air itself, in the light, in the very way the walls pulsed. "You have done well so far," she said softly, her eyes studying him as if she could see every thought, every hidden fear. But courage alone does not define a human. You must show understanding, patience, and heart. Only then can you be worthy of Arya. Ethan nodded, though his mind raced. What could possibly test understanding and heart in a way stronger than the previous simulations? He had already faced danger, fear, and temptation. What remained? Without warning, the walls around him shifted again. The glowing interior of the house faded, replaced by a vast open landscape. Ethan found himself on a strange world, the sky a shifting canvas of violet and gold. Towering trees with crystalline leaves glimmered in the sunlight. Rivers of luminescent liquid flowed gently between jagged rocks that hummed with energy. The air smelled sweet and metallic at the same time, and he could feel the life of the planet beneath his feet. A soft voice echoed in the distance. "This test is different from the first. Here you will see the consequences of your actions. You will feel what it is to protect not just yourself but others, in ways that demand more than bravery." From the edge of the forest emerged small creatures, no larger than Ethan's hand. They had round bodies covered in soft shimmering fur and tiny glowing eyes. They chirped in alarm as they spotted him. It was clear they were in danger, but danger from what? Ethan scanned the horizon and saw a massive shadow moving among the trees. Predators with razor-sharp limbs and eyes that burned like fire. Without thinking, Ethan ran toward the creatures, shouting for them to follow. He guided them to a clearing, using his body to shield them from the predators that lunged from the shadows. The creatures squealed and chirped, following his directions as if they understood every word. Every action he took was instinctive, born of a desire to protect, to save, to ensure life endured. Arya's mother watched silently. Ethan could feel her evaluating him, sensing his heart, testing his intentions. When the predators closed in, he had to make a choice. He could flee, saving himself, or stay, risking everything to protect these fragile lives. He chose to stay. He moved quickly, using the environment to his advantage, creating barriers with fallen branches, guiding the creatures into a safer area. It was exhausting, dangerous, and frightening, but he refused to give in to fear. Finally, the predators retreated, sensing the courage and determination radiating from him. The creatures chirped in relief and affection, gathering around him as if to show gratitude. Ethan sank to his knees, breathing heavily, sweat and dust covering him. The landscape faded, replaced once more by the glowing walls of Arya's home. "You acted wisely," Arya's mother said, her voice calm and approving. "You showed not just bravery, but care, foresight, and responsibility. These qualities are rare in humans. Many are courageous, but few understand that courage without heart can be meaningless." Ethan took a moment to gather himself. I just did what felt right," he admitted. "I couldn't let them die if I could help." "That is why you are human," she said. "Your species can create, protect, and endure. You can be fragile yet resilient, weak yet capable of extraordinary strength. That is your nature." The room shifted again, this time more subtly. Ethan found himself standing in a dimly lit corridor. The walls were lined with strange images, scenes from Arya's life. He saw her as a child, learning to walk, exploring the forests, laughing with friends. Then he saw moments of struggle, moments of sorrow, moments where she had faced danger and uncertainty. "You will now face a test of patience and understanding," Arya's mother explained. "You must navigate not through force but through empathy and connection." Ethan's heart raced. He had faced physical danger, but emotional challenges were different. They cut deeper, tested the mind, and threatened confidence in ways he could not anticipate. Ahead, the corridor split into multiple paths, each leading to a vision of Arya in need. In one, she was trapped under a collapsing crystal bridge. In another, she was surrounded by hostile Lumerians demanding obedience. In each scenario, he could intervene, but each choice carried consequences he could not fully predict. He chose the first scenario. Arya was pinned under heavy crystal. He lifted the debris carefully, speaking to her, encouraging her to stay calm, to trust him. Her face mirrored fear but also hope. The bridge trembled, threatening to collapse further, but he guided her to safety, taking calculated risks to ensure they both survived. The second scenario required diplomacy. The hostile Lumerians were testing her, questioning her loyalty to her people. Ethan stepped forward, speaking clearly and respectfully, appealing to reason rather than force. He did not raise his voice or threaten. He simply showed understanding, patience, and honesty. Slowly, the Lumerians backed down, recognizing his sincerity. Arya's mother observed quietly, yet Ethan could feel the weight of her judgment. She was measuring not just his actions but his intent. Every thought, every emotion, every choice was visible to her. Finally, the visions faded. The corridor returned to the familiar glow of her home. Ethan was exhausted, both physically and mentally, but he felt a deep sense of accomplishment. He had navigated danger, protected life, and exercised patience and understanding. "You have shown growth beyond what most humans can achieve," Arya's mother said, stepping closer. Her eyes softened slightly. "You have proven courage, loyalty, empathy, and insight. But there is one final aspect you must demonstrate before I can truly accept you." Ethan's heart skipped a beat. He had passed physical, emotional, and moral tests. What remained? "Love," she said simply. "Not just for Arya, but for all who depend on you. You must show that your love is not selfish, not possessive, not fleeting. It must endure even when tested, even when challenged, even when you face loss." Suddenly, the room shifted again, and Ethan found himself standing on a small cliff overlooking a vast, turbulent ocean under a stormy sky. In the distance, he could see Arya, struggling to survive as massive waves threatened to sweep her away. The wind howled, rain pelted his face, and the ocean roared with power. Without hesitation, he dove into the storm, battling the waves to reach her. Every stroke was exhausting. Every surge of water threatened to drag him under. But he kept moving, driven by love and determination. When he finally reached her, he shielded her body with his own, fighting against the relentless waves, keeping her safe. The storm subsided as if responding to their survival. Ethan and Arya collapsed on the cliff, drenched, exhausted, but alive. The scene faded, returning to the calm glow of the house. Arya's mother approached him, her expression unreadable. Then slowly a small smile appeared. "You have endured the trials of courage, empathy, understanding, and love," she said. "Few humans could survive what you have faced. Few could demonstrate the qualities that make your species remarkable." Ethan struggled to catch his breath. I only wanted to prove that I could protect her, that I could be worthy of her trust and love," he said. "That is enough," she replied. "You have proven yourself in ways beyond mere tests. You have shown the essence of humanity, courage, heart, loyalty, and love. These are what make your kind worthy even among the stars." She opened the door, and for the first time Ethan saw Arya fully, standing there with her eyes shining. She rushed to him, wrapping her arms around him. "You did it," she whispered. "You proved it. I knew you could." Ethan looked at Arya, then at her mother, and realized that this meeting had been more than a test. It had been a revelation. He had faced challenges that tested every part of him, body, mind, and soul. And through it all, he had emerged stronger, more confident, and more certain of his love and purpose. Arya's mother spoke once more, her voice soft but powerful. "You have shown what humans can achieve when guided by love, courage, and understanding. Remember this, Ethan. Humanity has the power to endure, to inspire, and to change worlds. You carry that spark within you." Ethan nodded, a sense of pride and humility filling him. He had not only survived the trials of an alien mind, but had proven the very best of what it meant to be human. And as he stood there holding Arya close, he knew that this was only the beginning of a journey that could span worlds. A journey defined by humanity, heart, and hope. The door closed behind them, not as a barrier but as a signal of acceptance. Ethan had passed, not just as a lover but as a representative of humanity's enduring spirit. And in that moment he understood why Arya's mother had said, "Finally alone." It was not a threat, it was an invitation to see what was possible when a human's courage and heart met the infinite possibilities of the universe.